Okay, Cap, what's the plan?
Well, Ant-Man, the plan is to fight Thanos again. And though he may have defeated us the first time, and basically proved it's statistically impossible to beat him, we don't give up, because we're Avengers, and we've got heart.
Yeah.
And we've got determination.
Yeah.
And we've got...
I'm not finished! Turn the fucking music back on!
So as I was saying, we've got heart.
Yeah.
We've got determination.
Yeah.
And we've got grit.
Yeah.
And we've got synergy.
Huh?
Oh, I meant to save that for a TED Talk. Anyway, let's go get him.
Yeah! Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 46 of Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Robert.
And I'm Alex.
So today we will be foregoing the pointless interlude of sports and news portions of the podcast in favor of the main event, which is...
Well, obviously, we're going through Jim Jarmusch's filmography.
I thought we were going to be talking about Avengers Endgame.
Oh, well, I was prepared for Jim Jarmusch. But you know what? That's a good idea. Why not? I heard it's doing relatively well as of this podcast.
And we both saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Very good.
Saw it twice.
I saw it once. I saw it once in not so great seats, but I saw enough of it.
Okay.
Saw enough.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes, we're obviously going to talk the movie. We're going to do our non-spoilers, spoilers, and then we're just going to talk about really the history of the MCU and then how the MCU is going to move forward in the future.
Sounds good. You want to get into it?
All right, let's get right to it. So, starting with non-spoilers, I'm going to say this right off the bat. Movie starts a little slow. Mm-hmm. And it's not so slow that, you know, I'm bored to death, but there's so much to anticipate that you're just kind of chomping at the bit for it to get going.
Yeah.
And it's very, I guess you'd say, character-heavy scenes to start off without giving away too much.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think it's hard to do this without spoiling things. And, you know, oh, wow, if you're playing bingo at home, I wonder how many fucking reviews of this you've listened to where people haven't said that.
Right.
But, no, I think it's hard to talk about this because I do think parts of the beginning are slow, but there are other parts in the beginning where they throw things at you that I was honestly not expecting. And I was like, oh, we're doing this? Mm-hmm. Okay, weird. Or like, oh, we're going that route. Okay, interesting. And I feel like that was enough for me to get through the slow parts because it was like, okay, I didn't expect that. This is not what I anticipated. But I definitely agree in terms of pacing. It's slower and definitely in terms of the rest of the movie. Things do ramp up quite a bit.
Right. Well, it's also interesting. I'm not sure this is what you meant by when you said, "Oh, we're doing this," but honestly, from the first shot, which I won't say what it is, the cinematography looks way better than most Marvel movies.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed with a lot of just the Russo brother movies in general.
But this movie in particular, I don't know who the cinematographer is, but
that would be one Trent Opalak or Opalak, I don't know how you pronounce it.
Everything just looked a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say that Marvel has bad cinematography. I would say most Marvel movies have what I guess I would call competent cinematography.
Right.
Because there's that sort of standard... I guess TV-ish look, mm-hmm. But then there's what you would say is more artful cinematography, and I definitely got an artful vibe out of a lot of the shots, particularly at the very first scene.
Oh yeah, the scene's very good, and I do agree. I think the cinematography there's a lot of really sharp color work in this, especially with the cosmic stuff.
I was gonna say, you know how a lot of time with blockbusters, they sort of gravitate towards a couple color palettes. Mm-hmm. Like I was hearing someone say, oftentimes it's orange and blue.
Yeah.
You get really everything here.
Mm-hmm. A lot of green, there's some blue and purples and reds and such. It's a lot of stuff.
You get everything pretty much. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, not everyone gets a long enough time to shine, but that kind of seems like a seemingly impossible task.
Yes.
But part of me, when I was watching the movie, or after the movie was complete, and I thought about that, I said, but you had 3 hours. How the hell much time do you need?
Yeah, there's
and that kind of, I went back to the beginning. I thought, well, you could have trimmed up a couple things in the beginning. Not that, because as you said, the beginning scenes are good and they're interesting enough, but I don't think that all of them needed to be as long as they were.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There needed to be some trimming of certain elements, but I also agree with you in that there were a couple characters that I straight up didn't see, like that are kind of led it's led to believe that you will see them, but you don't really. And I'm like, where are they at?
Okay, yeah, we don't want to give that away. But.
No, but what I will say is the characters I wanted to see the most development from, I got.
Right.
And, that's important.
Okay, yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Let's talk some tone. What do you think of the tone?
I heard from some people that it wasn't working for them in ways, because at the beginning it's like there's a little too jokey for considering the events of the last movie. It's like, why are we making jokes about some of the shit, guys? Like, but for me, this isn't. It's not like fucking Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 where I'm literally losing the director. Like, am I supposed to be laughing at this? What's going on?
At the very least, you could tell what was supposed to be comedic and what was supposed to be serious.
Yes.
And that was one thing I thought that this movie did pretty well in general.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the tone was, for the most part, pretty balanced.
Yeah.
And of course, there's always a couple parts where, did we need levity in this part? But I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to make the best of a shitty situation. They're picking up the pieces of the last movie where Thanos obviously won. Mm-hmm. It was the Empire Strikes Back, if you will.
Oh, yeah. And
of the Avengers, at least.
Yeah. And I think that, in my opinion, I thought they handled it pretty well. There's a lot of really funny jokes in this. And I think it's the funniest Marvel movie since Thor Ragnarok. Now, that being said, there are a couple groaners. There are always going to be groaners.
I mean, there's always a couple, but at the very least, because unlike the Infinity War, none of them overstayed. If they were bad, it's just, it's like, meh, that was it. They didn't just keep going and beat a dead horse,
I thought there was one joke where they did that, and I think it's similar to the one that did it in Infinity War.
Oh.
It involved the exact same characters.
Oh, I disagree. I like that one.
That one I was just like, okay, we get it. Cut, please cut. Like,
it went a little long, but I thought at least started funny as hell.
Oh, yeah, but it's like,
it's better, damn it.
It's better, but it's the same.
We'll get there at spoilers.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Because it was one of those things where I said not everyone got their time to shine, in some ways I felt like this kind of didn't meet expectations all the way, but that's also because expectations for this, for me, I was expecting, this is so ridiculous and it's almost unfair, but it's almost not, because it's the culmination of 22 movies, or rather 21, this being the 22nd. I had basically expectations for this to be as good as Dark Knight or something.
Ceiling level.
Basically, I was expecting this to be in top 3 superheroes, I guess. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that's through the roof, but how the hell could I not? Because there's a lot to promise, and I think for the most part, it delivers.
I think, in my opinion, it for me, it absolutely did. I loved this. I loved it almost entirely. It's not in my top 3 favorite Marvel movies.
No.
But in my opinion, it's better than Infinity War, I think. I think it's a better movie overall than Infinity War, because Infinity War is, for me, it lacks several critical elements, namely a falling action to its very, very big conclusion. But this has everything I kind of wanted a Marvel movie to be. Like, it has a lot, like, even the elements that weren't that good were there. Like, there wasn't anything, like, super missing. Well, there are things that are missing, but we'll get to that later. But I was really, really enthralled by this, and part of that, I think I agree with you, does come from expectation. I wasn't looking forward to this as much as you were. I know for a fact, because I didn't like Infinity War as much as you did. I was a little disappointed by it, but I still like that movie. I stand by my score of 8 out of 10, and I'll get to my score later for this, but I did like it more.
Okay, see, I don't know. I'm sort of on the fence with how I feel about this one in terms of, do I like it better than Infinity War? Mm-hmm. I would say Infinity War is close in any event. This might be fuck it. I think I know. We all know the main reason why this might be better. I think it's just I can't.
Certain things that happen.
Well, there's a certain big thing that happens. Yes.
Well, there's one, and then I would just say, emotionally speaking, like Infinity War was like it's sad, but like this is like I felt a lot more, and the emotions in this weren't as cheaply laid on. Like Infinity War is like, oh no, Spider-Man, oh my god, these characters. It's like I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
Whereas things happen in this where I'm like, oh, okay, this is it. Like, this is what's happening. And that was something I also really enjoyed is like, did you, while watching this, like, there were certain scenes where it felt like beating like a final boss in a game. Like, I was actually stressed out watching parts of this movie. I was like, okay, like, what's going to happen? Because this is kind of freaking me out a little bit. Certain parts.
No, I definitely got that. Mm-hmm. But that's actually kind of related to what you were just saying. I think the emotions didn't feel cheap. I think the performances all around were really good.
That's for sure.
Standouts for me, obviously, Robert Downey Jr.
All of the OG Avengers.
Kills it.
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans,
Scarlett
Johansson, Jeremy Renner, finally getting some goddamn material to work with.
I was going to say, for people who felt, let down by his role in the very first Avengers, mm-hmm. and even thought maybe you wanted even more out of 2 and 3 or whatever, he wasn't in
Infinity War, yeah.
So here's his time to shine for absolute sure.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty much that, I guess, with non-spoilers. The point is, I think we'll just overall it. I think it's relatively around the same. I'd say slightly better than Infinity War.
I agree. I actually agree with you there,
I think
too.
the monumental, impossibly high expectations, they weren't met, but again, I realized they were kind of ridiculous to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
So do we want to move on to spoilers?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to start with my first big fucking problem with this movie.
I think I know what it is.
Hey, Black Widow fans.
Yeah. They did our girl dirty.
Okay. Seriously, so we got a letter from the writers. Dear Black Widow fans, eat shit sucks to suck.
As I said to Abby after this, this town ain't big enough for 2 strong female characters. We got to get rid of one. And you know what? I completely agree with you in that it supremely pissed me off in a way, because I'm like, well, you just truncated my excitement for the Black Widow movie by 85%.
Right, because
I'm like, this is like the Han Solo prequel now. It's like, I don't fucking care.
Yeah,
I already know what happens. Like, god damn it, this is man, because I'm assuming the Black Widow solo movie is going to be a prequel.
Well, I mean,
has to be.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
But then again, they're playing fast and loose with the time rules.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
And I'll get to that in a fucking moment.
Yeah.
We've got a whole subsection of the spoilers ready for just that, but we're not there yet. But you're right. That when I saw that, I said, well, now, because there's kind of rumors going back and forth, is it a prequel, isn't it? Now it's confirmed. We pretty much know that now.
I'd be stunned if it was anything other than a prequel.
I would love to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be wrong, but I can't help but get the feeling that we're not.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, what's her name? Scarlet Witch said that weird shit to Hawkeye. I wish they could be here and know what we did. And she says something along the lines of, "Oh, they know."
Mm-hmm.
Referring to her and Vision, who was nowhere to be seen in this entire movie.
Yeah, Vision died.
Yeah,
but he didn't get snapped.
But back to Black Widow. I felt like first of all, she was in literally 0 fight scenes, unless you count the mountaintop wrestling match. No, I'm gonna jump off.
Suicide race, is what I call it.
Yeah, I felt like it was, her sacrifice was hardly her moment to shine.
Well, that was another weird thing about that scene in general is that, and someone actually brought this up.
Oh, she makes the heroic sacrifice, but she wasn't in the final battle. I felt like if there's one thing that needed to happen, because some people might say, "Oh, that's too predictable." motherfucker, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. It's a superhero movie. The one thing I thought for sure we're getting is some callback where the OG6 and then the new people all come together and just tear shit up.
And we do, but
she's not there.
Sans Nat.
The thing is, it just felt wrong, her not being there, and that it just felt way off. But I almost feel like they should have had them say some shit, before they're arguing with each other to jump off. Natasha, no! What about your solo movie? Like, she's just like jumping. She's like, it's just a prequel. And he's like, oh, okay. And then she's like, besides, Clint, you have a Disney Plus series coming. How will you help establish dominance in this new age of streaming services without your show? Splat.
Yeah. The other thing that people are saying about that scene that I will echo is like, I thought you had to kill whatever you loved.
No, you just had to sacrifice. So
you have to sacrifice whatever you love. Well, you don't commit suicide.
Well, Jesus Christ, semantics, my friend.
Well, no, that's not semantics. Like the first in Infinity War, it's like fucking Thanos grabbed Gamora by like borderline the hair and threw her off of the goddamn cliff. This one's like, no, I'm gonna kill myself. No, I'm gonna kill myself. It's like, wait a second, this isn't how this works. Do you love yourself? Are you both self? Like, again, that's like thinking about it, it's like doesn't ruin them. Like, no, the movie sucks now.
No,
it's like
I get what you're
but it's
saying.
like
It's there.
Watching that scene again, I'll be like, wait a minute.
Okay, so while on the subject of that, did you think for a second when they hold hands, they give each other that awkward look, like they're just gonna throw down?
No,
I thought I don't know why, because like that's so obvious that wasn't gonna be the case.
Yeah.
But a part of me is like, are they that selfish? They're just gonna fight to the death.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's like the end of Double Dragon.
Like, that would have been horrible writing-wise, but I would have laughed my ass off and loved that in the Mortal Kombat Annihilation way.
Yeah.
which obviously has no place in this because people actually like this movie unironically.
Mm-hmm. And there's some other issues here in that it's like, Nebula, what the fuck? You didn't tell them about this? You know how fucking Vormir works. There's a lot of shit that Nebula, what the fuck? You didn't tell that, oh, by the way, I'm going to be on the same planet where Peter Quill is and all this bullshit. It's like, dude, you're leaving out a lot before we make this jump through fucking time and space.
Couldn't they just throw her down?
I know.
I mean, I don't really like... I'm just let me put it this way. I'm completely neutral about Nebula, where Black Widow is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. I actually thought I liked the character a lot more in this because like, she's a lot more to do.
Right.
But they fuck her character up a little bit with plot holes. I'm like, come on, man. She kind of does a lot. And I like Karen Gillan a lot. She's really cool. And
no, definitely.
She's coming to the role well, yeah.
I'm just saying, if we had to kill a character, if it was up to me, you had to choose.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Nebula.
Or Nebula, yeah.
Or Hawkeye for...
I mean, as much as I love Jeremy Renner, it's like, I just saw him cut some dudes up with samurai swords. Like, that's all I wanted. Like, I just wanted to see him kill people, like, a lot of people, and, like, be really badass.
Well, see, that was another thing. I thought I would have liked to see a little more Ronin.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I thought, for instance, if you were talking about scenes to trade time for, because the first, the picking up the pieces shit, that's like almost a third of the movie. Mm-hmm. And then they just curb stomp Thanos, which I thought was weird as fuck. But
I love that.
We'll get there in a second. But before they do that, I thought they could have cut out, maybe made some of the Iron Man stuff a little shorter, if that meant just one more scene of Jeremy Renner just killing whoever the fuck the Ronin or the Yakuza or whatever the hell. Because that scene was awesome. It's just a little short.
Yeah.
That's all.
I agree.
Okay, so if you want to talk about the Thanos, the thing at the beginning.
Well, this is what I meant in this non-spoiler section of just like surprises after surprises. So we get to Thanos' planet, and they just kill him. Like
straight up.
Yeah, and like, once they realize, of course, that he's snapped the Infinity Stones out of existence. And oh man, Thor, like the G that he is, cuts his head off with Stormbreaker, and they're like, what the fuck? And he's like, I went for the head. And I was the only person in my theater. I laughed like a fucking idiot. I was like, ha! I was like, that's a great line. Like, that's a callback.
Right.
Anybody else? Like, you don't fucking remember that? Remember when he said that shit? And then we, like, get the title sequence and shit. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And then 5 years later happens. And I'm like, what are we doing here? I'm like, okay, this is a huge problem I had with Fantastic Four. Tread carefully.
Oh, yeah.
Like the 1 year late, wherever the fuck
Except they did it earlier, which is a more opportune moment.
Yes.
Whereas Fantastic Four did it in the middle of the movie, and the movie already sucked that far in.
And it's a culture shock. Like, Thor is out of shape.
Yeah, I was going to get... You want to talk about Fat Thor?
Fat Thor.
Let's talk about Fat Thor. I kind of felt like it was a cheap gag that they just kind of, like, ran too much with. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess it's funny, but... It just felt weird that, like, this is him for the rest of the movie.
There are two major changes that they show us, and both of them, I was immediately like, I don't like this at all, and then I ended up being okay with.
How's that?
It was Fat Thor and the Hulk. Like, both, I'm like, I don't like this.
Oh, Professor Hulk?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if I like that they're doing this in this movie. And then, like, by the end of the movie, I was like, all right, that's fine. I mean, it's not my favorite, and it kind of did diminish a bit of what I like. Like, coming off of Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War, like, Thor is fucking one of my favorite MCU characters.
When he started kind of in the, like,
middle to
bottom,
low,
bottom of the pack, middle of the pack for me, yeah.
And now they put him in this place where it's just like, he's not super likable. I mean, he's human being, you know, like, he has panic attacks and he's, like, you know, hedonistic and he's got vices and he's scared, but it put him in a place where it's like we were riding so high.
Yeah.
Even up until the first few minutes, like when he kills Thanos, I'm like, oh man, this is the Thor I thought we'd get.
Yeah, so he's still Thor, but then he's almost shadow of his former self.
Yeah, but I will say they develop him in a way throughout the film that, again, by the end, by where they take Thor, literally and figuratively, I was fine with it. I was pretty fine with it.
Yeah, I would say
so he's
the
not
most
the best
part.
character in the movie.
There was also a really awkward line. Like, this is a joke that didn't work for me. It's like, I'm going to shove him up your butt. The fact they chose butt felt so unnatural. It's just like, just say ass.
Yeah.
You know what it felt like? Disney was just dipping their toe in the PG pool.
Yeah.
Did you get that impression a couple times throughout this movie?
Especially,
you know where else I got that?
What's that?
You know, all right, so this movie isn't just about fisticuffs, lasers, and cutting heads off. Let's do a heist part, which it wasn't bad, but it just felt very much like a regular, just a movie, which isn't a bad thing. But they're, again, shying away from my favorite thing, pugilism.
Yeah.
It just felt like, how can we dip our toe in the PG pool?
Yeah.
And just like...
Especially in that same scene we get, somebody says the word dick, right?
Where?
In that, Korg? Are you talking about that scene? Is that where he says it?
Well,
I
guess...
Fortnite?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like... Oh, well, yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay, so you are using edgy language, and then you say, you know, he says, oh, he's being a dickhead.
Yeah.
You know?
This guy called me a dickhead.
And then he just gives him that PG insult back.
I am Thor.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that, and then I guess we'll talk Professor Hulk.
Okay, so Professor Hulk, I was always a fan of the comics, being a you know, shameless 90s comics fan. I mean... I guess, obviously, Hulk as a story, you know, as a plot device or just as a character works better when they're kind of two separate entities.
Yeah.
But it makes sense, you know, 5 years later, fuck it, I'm just done with this.
Yeah.
Especially since the first Avengers, we know that he can control it if he really wants to.
It was a weird fucking scene, like... in my theater, like, there was murmurs. There's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it is a very weird scene, and it's like a bit of a culture shock, and it's a bit jarring. But again, by the end of the movie, after hearing them out, I'm like, I'm fine with this.
What do you think of the selfie thing?
Selfie thing was weird. The dab thing, I'm like,
no, the dab thing. I said they killed it there.
It was hello fellow or greetings fellow kids. Like,
yeah,
get the fuck.
That's
out,
why it was fine. And then they said dab, and I said, all right, you overstayed your welcome. Get out.
But I will say
get out.
Props to Marvel though for shrouding these two major character changes in absolute secrecy, and like I had no fucking clue.
Well, I didn't watch any of the trailers, so I knew nothing.
I saw most of the marketing material, and none of that is even remotely alluded to. Now, they've since gone back on that, and I think they're just showing full-blown trailers, scenes from the third act now, but that's a week out.
Okay. So, do we want to just quickly talk about some of the scenes during the time heist? Now, we're not talking about the time travel rules. I have a whole tirade set aside for that.
Well, Scott Lang comes back.
Right.
Thanks to a rat. The MVP of the movie, arguably.
That's what's so crazy. I thought to myself, is that really how it's done? And then I thought, if I were writing a clickbait article, why that rat is the real hero of the Avengers? Is the rat a Skrull?
Yeah. Oh, no.
That's another thing. It's like, what the fuck? You guys, you bring Skrulls into the universe. Mm-hmm. That's not going to come into play anywhere?
You're asking for it.
No, I mean, you're not going to have them anywhere in this movie?
That's a whole other element.
Whatever. That's another whole... I'll just let that bygone be a bygone for now. But anyway, Scott Lang's back. But the second they decide, all right, we're going to do this thing, I felt like, now we've got a movie. Mm-hmm. Not that I didn't hate the beginning. I was just like, God damn it, just get to the fucking... I'm just like, get to this, the meat. Get to the real shit.
He goes to visit his daughter, who's like 35 years older now.
No, she's... Well, she looked like she was 16.
I don't know about that. She looked like 25.
Whatever, she's a teenager.
She was like 10 in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Exactly, she's a teenager now.
It just looked weird. I'm like, that looks like a 25-year-old woman. But anyway, it was neither here nor there.
All right. Okay, next.
He goes back to the Avengers headquarters, and they meet up with Steve Rogers and Natasha. Right. And he's like, dude... I think there might be a way to fuck with time because I was in the quantum realm for 5 hours or 5 years and it only felt like 5 minutes. So let's go talk to Tony about this.
And then Tony just comes speeding up in the car. Loved it.
He's like, let's fucking do this. They have their first like non-pissed off heart to heart. Him and Cap. It's great.
All right, just to circle back to some of the things we were talking about earlier. The cinematography that I was talking about, that very first shot. Him, Hawkeye practicing archery with his daughter. Mm-hmm. Just something about that just looked very good. Mm-hmm.
Real good scene.
Lighting, composition, all that good shit. And then also I loved the Iron Man pissed off reunion.
Oh yeah, where he's like all like emaciated and he's dying oh. God.
We needed you or whatever the fuck, and we fucked up.
What does he say? He's like, I thought you were a Build-A-Bear there for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. So Iron Man's got a kid now and shit.
Yeah, exactly. And some of that shit, I'm like, all right, I get it. Let's less yakking, more whacking.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get to the, as I already said 100 times, get to the pugilism, please. Please. So then... Circling back.
They pledge what?
What?
What do they pledge to do with this newfound time machine that they've created? They want to go back in time.
Take the stones or whatever and then re-snap.
Yes, re-snap and then put them back in place where they once were.
Along the lines, there's a Cap versus Cap fight. Now, that was another time where everything just worked so well because it was a combination of storytelling, cinematography, and choreography all coming together perfectly. Mm-hmm. Hello, Loki.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And then he's just, die, fake Captain America. And he says, I can do all that. Yeah, I know. How great was that?
That got one of the best fucking laughs in the theater. Like, yeah, I know. I'm like, he's so fucking done.
Yeah, he's just done with it. But you know what else is so funny about that? He's just like, Jesus, was I really like that? Looking at yourself in hindsight, like, imagine, instead of looking at an old photo or an old video, you're face to face with yourself.
Yeah.
It reminded me so much of Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
God, was I really like this? That was a fantastic scene. That was one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, because everything, it was a perfect marriage of everything coming together. I'm like, I just felt like, now this is a goddamn movie.
Oh, yeah.
That's the feeling I got when I was watching that.
Mm-hmm. That whole sequence I thought, the sequence where they're in 2012 Avengers.
Oh, right.
Those were fun.
Well, the other thing about that, though, because there was a Cap versus Cap, I thought we were going to get some more doppelgangers versus doppelgangers.
Some Iron Man and Iron Man, Hulk and Hulk.
Or something. That was the one thing that I thought was kind of weird about the going back to New York. I thought they were going to get in the mix again, maybe. But I realized that'd be kind of a detour.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like it was sort of weird playing with expectations of what you're given and what happens.
Yeah, for sure.
So then the Hulk thing with
Ancient One.
I love that she's like, you're 5 years too early.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
perfect. She just somehow knows.
He's performing surgery down the street.
Yep. It's pretty nifty. Also, the elevator thing.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, come on. You can't do a callback like that just to not fight. I thought for sure he was going to say,
Well,
before we
get off.
before we get started. But no. I mean,
He does say
See,
Hail
that's the thing.
Hydra.
Yeah, see-
and that's not only is it genius screenwriting, but it's a nod to a very recent event in fucking comics. The whole Cap saying Hail Hydra and him being a sleeper agent or whatever, like pretending or whatever the fuck it ended up being.
that was a bunch of bullshit. We're talking about the movies.
But still, it's like there's so many things. Shit!
I'm kidding. No, yeah, I thought
They did that. They did it.
that did cross my mind.
It's like Hail Hydra. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I was like, what's that? Was that Secret Empire?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
No, it wasn't
'Cause
good.
you're like,
the movie did it better.
Yeah. You know what? There we go. The movie did it better.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, I would agree that was a clever way. If there's ever a way to avoid my favorite thing in the world in film, fisticuffs, that was a way to do it.
Yeah.
That was clever, and it fit the story. That was the other thing. I was thinking, I wish they'd mixed it up with wherever they went in the timeline, but I thought it wouldn't really make sense because the main point is to just get the stones, get the hell out of there.
They played with dramatic irony
Yeah.
well too, because
Right.
like the whole line with Cap with himself, where he's like, "Bucky's alive," and he's
Yeah.
like, "What?" He just gets the drop on him.
Right.
It's great. I like playing with that.
Yeah. Let's see. I love. Well, just go back to Hawkeye. I love that he's basically a Punisher, but used to be an Avenger. That's the difference.
He's
Because
fallen so
Punisher
far.
was a soldier, then his family gets killed, and then he's pissed. This is. You thought you got all the way to the top and then fell all the way to the bottom. Not that Frank was like, my family sucked anyway, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No Netflix characters in this.
Yeah. That's what I said. I'm like, when the thing happens, I was like, where's Jessica Jones?
Well, personally, I gave no shits at all.
Neither did I.
I didn't even think about it till the very end of the movie. I'm like, oh, yeah, they weren't there. Oh, well.
Well, they don't even have shows anymore, so
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So, do we want to get to the side tirade?
yes, side tirade 1 there's 2, right?
Well, one's more like a gush fest.
Okay,
All right, we'll do
tirade
the
one.
side tirade / rant number 1.
Yes.
Time travel, interdimensional travel. I've one word. God damn it. Do I hate time travel in movies? There, I can name about 4 movies where I like it. Timeline, Ninja Turtles 3, but that's a terrible movie, but that's not the point. But I like it anyway. Days of Future Past, Terminator 2. Actually, make that 5. Let's include Back to the Future. Because there's 2 types of time travel in my mind. There's the kind where, gee, that was a neat adventure, nothing changed, fuck it, who cares? We're not going to go into the science, we're not going to question it, neither is the audience, because we're not going to mention it. And then there's the, but you can't do this, this, and this, and that's that. So like Terminator, you can't, like, what the fuck is it, go back to the future or whatever?
Yeah, something. There's rules.
I don't remember. The rules are much more cut and dry, and they don't try to involve real science, because when you involve real science, now you're going to confuse the shit out of me.
Yeah, because science wins all the time.
Well, because I'm dumb. But yeah, exactly. One, I'm a dumb, so you're going to confuse me. Then when I realize that the real science makes it bullshit, you're just making me question it more and more and more. It's just a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I read this thing and it was talking about real quantum theory. And they basically said, well, everything checks out except for Captain America. And I said, that's exactly what I fucking thought.
Yeah.
It's, okay, there's that whole thing about, oh, well, you can't have the branches. That's what the Ancient One said. But if you keep the stones, that's like your thing. And,
as long as you put them back, is what she said.
And it's like, time is your perspective. So it's like, Tony really did meet his dad. Or Thor really did talk to his mom. Hulk really did talk to the Ancient One. But also the shit in the future happens. A little confusing, but I'll roll with it. You lose me at Captain America did go back in time and fight himself, and he didn't go under the ice, but he also did? That doesn't make any fucking sense at all.
Yeah, the way I saw it was like, okay, so there's literally Steve Rogers still frozen under the ice somewhere is what's going on, I think, but not really. This is one of those movies where the more you think about it, the more it doesn't make sense. I think
it was ripe with doesn't make sense because it wasn't like because what I think is if you don't think about a plot hole till way later, for example, since I love martial arts movies and sometimes they take place in realistic settings, and I'll sometimes think an hour later or not an hour later, like a week later. If one guy had a gun, that would have changed everything.
Yeah.
No, but that's different than this, where I said, credits are rolling. Oh, that was an amazing experience. But this doesn't make sense. Immediately, I pointed out that was in my head. I'm like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. How? And then
it doesn't make sense within the context of itself. Because that was one thing I immediately questioned was the whole time compounding thing with Ant-Man in the quantum realm was like, well, I felt like I was in there for 5 minutes. It's like, it's been 5 years. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. He's gone in the quantum realm before, and so have other people, but the time hasn't worked similarly there. Like in Ant-Man 1, he goes into the quantum realm and gets out, and it's the same day. It's 5 minutes later in actual time. And like Michelle Pfeiffer's character, is it Hope Van Dyne or Janet Van Dyne?
Janet Van Dyne.
She is old. Like she comes out. It's been like 40 years, and she has aged. Like it hasn't been 40 minutes. Like she's an older woman. So like, what the fuck? Like, what is that then? That's weird.
That's what I'm saying. And then it's like, so, the main question is, so First Avenger didn't happen, or it didn't happen the same way. Winter Soldier didn't happen. Civil War didn't happen. Like, how the fuck does that make any sense? Do all the other people have doppelgangers? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, it's one of those movies where the more you think about the time shit, it's just gonna fry your brain.
Well, yeah, but back to the time stuff, I guess. Small side note. I really liked the conversation between Tony and his dad.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
Very, very touching. Very nice.
Yeah, that's a good scene.
But back to talking shit about time travel and how it sucks ass. It makes no sense. Fuck time travel. Also, you know what thought occurred to me? Really? You're ripping a page out of the latest X-Men movies playbook? Because now, I feel like this has changed the MCU, but I don't know if it's going to be for the better. Oh, well, we can just go back in time and get 2014 Gamora.
Yeah.
Like, how the hell is that going to work?
Also, the whole thing...
So is she just going to replace old Gamora? Also, I was under the impression that soul for a soul can't go back. Or it's like permanent no matter what. The Vormir thing. Oh, but that was before she was thrown in the pit. All right, now you've lost me. And I try not to think about it, but they spent... The reason why you don't earn the it's a movie luxury, you spent too much time talking about it. Like if you watch a fucking Jet Li movie and they're like, well, if I just use this trifisylate like fake science powder, I can bounce off walls. And you're like, well, wait a minute. They just do it. He's just like boom, 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 bounces off the walls. That's it. You know?
Yeah.
This they're like, let's explain how we're gonna do all this crazy shit. For a long time, Mobius strip all this other bullshit.
It's interesting you bring this up because they actually did this in a Jet Li movie. Remember The One?
Oh, God.
Interesting you bring up Jet Li. But no, I get what you mean.
That was rated PG-13. And PG-13 Jet Li movies, for the exception of Fearless, generally suck. Just saying. Off topic. Back to the movie event of the century, practically.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's like... ugh.
It complicates a lot.
And
going
furthermore, grr.
Yeah.
Grr, ugh, herm.
Yeah.
Grr, ugh, herm. General noises of disdain / WTF.
You know what's weird is like I actually went into this knowing all I knew is that time travel was going to be a part of it because I saw set photos, and my damn ticket taker at the theater I go to in Crystal Lake said to me, he's like, I think what they're going to do is they're going to send he didn't say the exact way it happened in the movie, but he's like, they're probably going to send Tony back, or they're going to send Steve back to his time so he can live in his time, and I'm like, that would be pretty cool if they did that. That would be a good way to send off Cap.
It was a nice send-off, but it doesn't make fucking sense at all.
You know why it doesn't make sense?
Well, I think I just explained it for
Well, no,
10
but like,
minutes.
here's one. He has to put all the Infinity Stones back, right?
Right.
How the fuck did he get to Vormir to put the Infinity Stone back? And how did he put it back there?
No, because Gibbsy's backsies with the was it the Soul Stone?
Yeah.
I don't think you have to kill someone and give it back.
Did he just give it to Red Skull and was like, hey, after I kill you and you go to that shitty dark planet, just put this back?
That would have been so. That would have been a great like mid-credit scene. Wow, this is awkward.
But no, it's weird, and it does. If I'm
Also,
thinking of the movie, it's not the best part of the movie.
Okay, but here's another thing. While we're just on this tirade, so okay, if he puts the stones back, so what? They can repeat history again.
Yeah.
Also, not only that, if Gamora could be brought back and all these other people could be brought back or whatever, why can't Thanos come back and just rinse, lather, repeat, do the same shit over again? And then we're stuck in a time loop? Whoa, bro. Crossover with Happy Death Day.
And Bill Murray.
Yeah. Whatever. No. That would be weird.
Yeah.
I feel like they needed, since they have him now, they should have just had Deadpool be like, yeah, things are just weird now. We're just going to make our own rules. See ya. Just walks off screen.
Yeah, I mean, that would kind of put a nice little bow on it, but they kind of have to wait now, I guess. Allegedly.
Yeah, I suppose so. Well, okay. So let's get to the ending in general. So Iron Man dies.
Yeah.
He's actually dead.
He's actually dead.
And
it's the end of an era.
They had to have him do the snap.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you know what's so great about that too is, go back to Avengers 1. Big man with suit of armor, take that off, what are you? Now we have our answer.
Yeah.
It's not billionaire, philanthropist, playboy, whatever. It's a hero.
Yeah.
So Tony completes his arc, and that was fantastic.
That's, what's weird is like this movie, to quote William Goldman, endings are all about giving the audience what they want, but not in the way that they expect. So I kind of figured this was going to happen. I actually said as soon as they announced that this was going to be a 2-part event back in 2013, I think it was. And it's not a 2-part event, actually. It's like,
whatever, same shit.
As soon as they said, like, Avengers Infinity War Part 1, Part 2, I'm like, okay, so Infinity War Part 1 is probably going to end with, like, a bunch of people getting killed, and then Part 2 is going to be, they revert it somehow, and one of the OG Avengers is going to die. I'm thinking it's going to be Tony, because
a lot of people thought Cap, but they did you one better.
Yeah. Cap dies in a way, like his time as Captain America dies. So I was like, halvesies right?
Yeah.
Like okay, Cap doesn't die, but he's going to be dead in 3 days.
You know what was weird? Just going back to Cap real quick, and that when he was dancing with Peggy, you're like, oh, that's so wholesome. Joe Perro would approve.
Yeah.
But it was such a nice ending. But even though it was so touching and fitting, I couldn't get the juxtaposition away from, but that doesn't make sense at all. Fuck that. Okay, back to Iron Man. Let's see.
He's where it all began, man.
Yeah, big suit and
that line where where Jon Favreau, the man who started it all, also is talking to the daughter and saying like, "Yeah, your dad used to like hamburgers." I'm like, fuck this movie.
Yeah.
fuck this movie right in its stupid face.
There was. Oh, you don't like that?
No. I was
making
like,
you sad?
It made me sad. I didn't cry, but I was like, yeah.
There was definitely some watery eyes in my theater.
Same.
But I'm like, this is a fucking Iron Man movie, Alex.
Yeah, I'm like, hold it together.
Yeah. Damn it, man.
Put your suit of armor on.
Yeah. Pull your shit together, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, perfect. I am Iron Man when he does the snap.
Had to be.
And I was so happy it was him instead of, oh look, here comes Captain Deus Ex Machina.
Oh God.
Barf.
Yeah, I actually need to. What was I going to say? What's the word?
Well,
amend something I said in the Captain Marvel review.
What's that?
I said, I'm just going to wait until the Endgame movie because the Russo brothers are going to do her better in a team-up movie than in her own solo movie, just like Black Panther. I was wrong. She's kind of useless in this.
She sucks. You know what else is like bullshit? Like when Rocket Raccoon gives her a little shit. Mm-hmm. Hey, what, are you going to get another haircut? Actually, I'm busy saving planets. Also, I feel like Rocket would be like, you know what? Fuck you. When she tries to give it back to him, or he'd like make another joke. He's like, oh, yeah, I'll just kiss your ass.
Well, yeah, and he kind of relents, like in a weird, like non-Rocket way. He's
right.
Like, all right. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, her time.
She's fine, but she felt so her presence felt so reshooty.
See, that's my problem. It's like, really, you brought this whole fucking movie in, and nothing from her universe really mattered or carried over. Mm-hmm. All she did was crash Thanos' ship, and it was like, great. That was quick. She just shows up, does not even like a series of punches or like a blast, just like, oh, boom, just right through it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It's whatever.
I mean, her fight with Thanos was pretty sweet, though.
Yeah. But, like, it's weird. Like, her powers are, like, when she's powerful, it's not consistent. So, like, he headbutts her in the face.
Yeah.
And then, like,
so that
she's
doesn't
just
hurt.
like, oh, fuck. So, like, Thanos is going to get his shit pushed in. But, like, no, he just, like, throws her.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second. Like, how does that work? Like, he literally headbutted her in the face. And now he just picks her up.
Well, yeah, because, he threw her before. It's like, and it's like, but now I'm whatever.
Yeah. It's a little inconsistent.
Yeah, that shit happens.
You know what? I didn't care because that scene was happening.
Yeah.
And what scene was that?
Oh, that was the... Oh, fuck. Well, hold on. Got a couple more tiny bits, and then we'll get to the
main event of the main event.
event of the main event. Gamora became a turncoat a little too quickly. What happens in the future? Oh, yeah, I try and kill you, but we become best buds. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. It was like that quick.
Yeah.
Good enough for me. Speaking of Gamora and Nebula, the other Guardians were barely in this besides Rocket.
And you kind of felt it. The dynamic there, it was like having Rocket just on his own, it's like, fine.
Yeah. But it was weird because you thought that was the thing, again, with expectations, especially impossible ones, to meet. Oh, I can't wait till so-and-so meets Drax, and can't wait till Scarlet Witch meets Peter Quill, and like all this other shit. You know, they like still were separate, sort of.
Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Let's see. Loki's escape.
Oh, off to my prequel show.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You know what? Fine.
Go away.
No, not even that. No, I didn't mean it that way. I said... Well, at least you justified it, sort of.
So is he dead?
I guess not.
But then is Vision... Why is Vision not alive?
This is my question. Why isn't Vision not alive? Where does it where the rules apply? Mm-hmm. I guess with Loki, he's a trickster.
Okay.
He's a jokester.
Yeah.
He'll josh you. He'll razz you. He'll do whatever.
He'll goof you.
He'll goof you good. He'll do whatever the fuck he wants, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so.
So... I don't know. I thought that was, at least you earned it. Stan Lee's final cameo.
Make love, not war.
Love it.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got. So, Thor joining Guardians.
The Asgardians of the Galaxy, as some people are saying.
You bastards. I thought I was out. Mm-hmm. I might...
For Guardians 3?
I might be back in.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
I might be.
Yeah, that would definitely sell me on it, for sure.
Yeah. See, Spider-Man didn't do shit.
No.
There's a bunch of people who
The character I was going to mention.
Sorry, Spider-Man had a moment.
The character I was going to mention, Okoye. She's like on the fucking poster. She's nowhere. She's nowhere in the fucking movie.
All right, you know what? Let's get to, since we've just mentioned a couple things.
We've been dancing around it.
The battle.
Yes.
The battle. Mm-hmm. The comic book movie battle to rule them all. The Helm's Deep.
The B dash 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 word.
Holy shit. It's just an absolutely glorious moment. Mm-hmm. It literally has not gotten this grandiose.
No.
I got the chills both times I saw this at that scene because I'm just such a fucking sap. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, dude, I was thinking on the drive home, I was like, I wonder how Alex felt about fucking Cap getting Mjolnir.
Oh, dude.
Our fucking audience was like, howling. I was like, that's pretty fucking dope.
I'm not a howler at theaters, but goodness me, I was
smitten.
Fucking going nuts inside. Loved it. There's one part where he just jumps up real good and he gets the lightning shot. I don't know why I thought he needed to say Hadouken. I was surprised he wasn't going to do one of those spin kicks.
That was the thing about the whole scene is just it's callbacks and payoffs of so many things you didn't even expect.
The coolest part about that was it made me think the part in
Age of Ultron
when he scooches it and Thor's freaking out.
Almost worthy. Yeah. And then like the on your left thing with Falcon.
Yeah.
I was like, God damn it. This, oof.
But they
are smart.
They delivered.
They did.
This has not yet attempted to be in a comic book movie. Mm-hmm. This is the event comic, but on the screen.
How about that collide, by the way?
Oh, dude. Like, that's what's so crazy is it makes every superhero movie that's come out thus far look small in scale.
Mm-hmm. Like, even Aquaman. I was like, Aquaman's huge. Like, there's crabs and shit fighting each other. I'm like, even that, I'm like, God damn it. This collide it's one for the ages because of everybody there.
This is a hell of an X-Men collide.
Oh, fuck it is.
For those of you playing at home, we are, of course, talking about the opening credit sequence for the 1990s X-Men cartoon.
Yes, where the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Evil are colliding.
Yes, but anyway, back to this battle. Holy shit. It's like, it's hard to describe how great this was. Because you know what it was? Just like Aquaman, what I did when I saw it the second time, because I'm just a nitpicky-ass nerd, I had to pay real close attention. I'm like, what's going on in the background? Mm-hmm. Everything's super detailed. It's like their own, each duel is its own fight scene. There's no slouches in the animation or in any of the scenes with the real actors. There's a couple people where I'm like, come on now, let them have a couple more moments. Hulk basically didn't do shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You thought, come on, this is Hulk we're talking about. He should just be wrecking people. Like, you can do some real creative shit, especially with that many dudes there.
No, but he's civilized now.
War Machine barely did anything. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. They're just... they just threw a little bit of shade at some of my favorite characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm getting you there.
And then Black Widow, as I mentioned, not being there just felt off.
Yeah.
It felt real weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you just get to kick a little monster thing like Peter Quill did, and you get to have no, I'm killing myself fight with Hawkeye, but other than that,
pretty much
you threaten to throw a sandwich at Captain America.
Pretty much.
Yeah, but let's go.
That's
the Marvel Trinity.
Yeah.
So
Thor,
the lead up
Captain,
before
Iron
reinforcements arrive.
That's a great scene.
Jesus.
Thanos just sitting there.
You know what? And this is one of those things where Trent Oplock, is that his name? Mm-hmm. This is where Mr. Oplock earned his keep. It looked so much more cinematic than any... Really, this is going to sound fucking crazy, but it just looked overly cinematic in the best way possible. Mm-hmm. Like, this is as movie as a movie gets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, this is the scene we've been waiting for. There are three heroes in this gross, kind of grayish, brownish,
literally in the
lightning-filled sky.
In the ashes of their own fucking dojo.
Right. Well, that's the thing. So I guess we'll just quickly go over. So they get all the stones, lose Black Widow in the process. They try and snap she doesn't come back, but everyone else does.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Trinity walks up to Thanos, and this is their defining moment. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, all of a sudden, we see these little zippity-doo-dah Doctor Strange portals opening, and everyone's there.
It's quite a moment.
And then all of a sudden, we hear, "We all may!"
Yeah, oh man.
Nothing gets me more fucking jacked up than seeing the Wakandan army ready to throw down.
It was good seeing him. I wanted a little bit more of Okoye and M'Baku, who I thought would be more focal points in this, but you know what? Whatever. Save it for Black Panther 2, I guess.
But Okoye did get to wreck some of the Black Order.
That's true.
Which it was like almost too quick. They just like fucked him up quickly.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, here comes the Black Order. Remember how it took you guys a good 5 or 6 minutes? Stab.
Yeah.
Dead.
Pretty much.
It's pretty awesome though. Mm-hmm. Also, Valkyrie, that was like the most. That might have been one of the most metal things I've ever seen.
The Pegasus?
Her just riding around the Pegasus, just slicing up those giant things. I felt like that scene could use could be rescored, or basically just put Thunder Horse behind it.
Yeah.
by Metalocalypse.
Oh, yeah.
Or Death Clock, sorry.
Yeah. Pepper Potts was in the Iron Man suit.
I actually, I thought, like, on paper, it was one of those things I'd say sounds stupid, but it was actually cool. Her design was pretty nifty.
Well, I mean, she doesn't she wear it in Iron Man 3 too? Also,
yeah,
or she gets powers and shit.
But then Iron Man, Pepper Potts have their Beyonce Jay-Z moment.
Yeah,
just fucking up the world together.
Yeah, that's true.
Just running shit. True power couple.
Oh man,
there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of asses that get beaten.
Thanos is namely Grimace.
Right.
Grimace finally met his.
Yeah, in the form of everyone had a part.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America kept him busy. Mm-hmm. He had his Hadouken.
He did,
which was fucking great.
Scarlet Witch fucked him up a little bit.
Yeah, that I thought that was pretty nifty. She's all, "You took everything," and he's all, "Oh fuck, my bad, brah."
Yeah,
they didn't say that.
He's like, "We didn't meet before. I don't know who you are. I don't know who any of you are."
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, you mean that Vision guy? Yeah, where the hell is he? I thought he'd be back too."
Mm-hmm. Oof.
Yeah, basically, to sum it up, Valkyrie was pretty metal. And Hadouken.
For that.
And I am Iron Man.
And I am Iron Man. Rip Tony.
Anyway, holy shit. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, for me, it's like this movie is...
that was the one point where I have an expectation. Y'all better fucking meet it. Mm-hmm. They did.
I'm very much the more and more I go on in watching movies, the more and more I realize that, like, I'm more of a sum of its parts type guy. And for me, this movie is so much more a sum of its parts. Because if I'm looking at it parts, it's like, yeah, there are parts that are better than others. I have questions, I have plot holes and nitpicks here and there. But as a journey, as a ride, the movie is... It's I don't know if I've seen a movie like this in a while. It's a fucking ride.
It's unprecedented. This has never been done in the way that this was done. Mm-hmm. There's never been a culmination like this.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things where, do you remember thinking about this when you were younger? Let's say even like 10 or 11. Oh man, wouldn't it be great if we could get a blank movie, Captain America, a Thor, a Black Panther. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, wouldn't it be great if one of the large-scale events happened? You thought, no, that's not possible. Mm-hmm. That'd be the most expensive movie. That's logistically never going to happen. This happened.
Yeah.
It's Infinity War, basically.
Yeah.
Which is everyone in the Marvel Universe. This is all hands on deck. Yeah. Everyone's there. And they did it.
Yeah.
And that alone is super impressive.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
So, I guess I'll just go with a couple, like, tiny things. A couple lines I loved. Have either of you guys studied quantum physics? And then Black Widow just says, only to make conversation.
Good one.
That's what I'm saying. She had a good sassy line.
She did.
And
That she did.
And then she just dies. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Okay, but the battle.
Yeah.
Bee Gees or Jerry Mungo? Definitely Jerry Mungo.
That was the other thing is, did you see the Community cameos?
Yeah.
You got Yvette Nicole Brown and Ken Jeong in this.
Yeah. You know what's so weird about the Jerry Mungo thing? I thought, you're going to obscurely reference the band who sings In the Summertime with the to an audience probably larger than any cinema-going audience.
Yeah?
Kudos. You made a music fan such as myself happy.
Oh, yeah.
With that line. So, yeah, back to wrapping up our review. Nothing like this has ever happened.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. This is really unprecedented.
Yeah, it's as epic and as bold and as different and monumental of a send-off as I thought, or as I was hoping it would be. I didn't really expect it to be.
Yeah.
But damn it, is it.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, though. One more shitty thing to say, and then we'll end it with positive. Mm-hmm. Passing the mantle. Like, can't he just fucking be Falcon? Let him be his own dude.
That's another weird... Yeah, is it going to be Captain America and the Winter Soldier or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the show?
Yeah, whatever, man. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what? I'll say this.
Maybe he'll just be Falcon with a shield.
I'll say this. Mantle passing in movies makes a little more sense to me.
Yeah, it did in Dark Knight Rises.
Because
in this.
Movies, I mean, even though this one kind of feels like it, are not written like TV shows. Where comic books, they have arcs, but it's like a TV show. It's not supposed to end. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'll just let bygones be bygones. It was handled well, and I loved old man Cap.
Makeup was great.
Voice sounded good. You gonna tell me about her? No. I don't think I will.
That's a great line.
I loved it. Yeah. So the battle and the time, heist scene, all this crazy shit happened.
It all ends with Cap dancing with Peggy.
Yeah. And fuck it. I'm just blabbering. I have nothing else to say. I didn't even think it would reach this point.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's overwhelming in a way.
It's so satisfying that they delivered.
Yeah.
Because how much would that have sucked if this was like horrible?
It would have been really bad. It would have been like the season finale of Lost for so many people, but not me.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing. This truly was, with its interwoven narrative, the most expansive, intertwined TV series we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And really, it was an amazing experience.
I agree.
So let's move on to scores.
Yes. Again, I'm a sum of its parts kind of guy. I know there's problems. I know there's nitpicks. But me leaving the theater, the feeling I felt was nothing more than just pure joy and happiness. And I loved this. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, but it's probably in the top 5. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
I'm actually going slightly lower because to me it starts a little too slow, and I couldn't forgive that because I saw this twice to make sure I wasn't crazy. In fact, I think I disliked it even more the first time I saw it. How slow it was, but I learned to appreciate those scenes a little more, even though I still felt like they were a little too long. And plus, to me, I'm sort of a sum of the parts guy, but not really. There's just some glaring issues.
Yeah.
But at the times where it counted most, they delivered. Mm-hmm. Namely, the battle and the time heist.
The ending.
And just the culmination of all these stories coming together. So I know this sounds low, but I had a great time. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5.
That's not bad.
Which gives us a grand total of...
a 13 out of 15.
Not too shabby. So that'll do it for our review of Thor Threatens Children Over Fortnite. And now we move on to the section of the podcast where we'll discuss the history and the beginnings of the MCU, how it came to be. So, as we all know, Marvel obviously started off with really started with Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, and Jack Kirby in the 60s. But, skip ahead a few decades, the 90s came. And, well, I guess based on the success of Endgame now, a way to sum it up would be Marvel has come a long way since declaring Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 1996.
Yes, they have.
Yeah. And a lot of that obviously had to do with Jim Lee and
Rob Liefeld,
a bunch of key artists and some guys who are also writers, but mostly artists all leaving for Image. So that was quite a blow to Marvel in general.
Oh yeah.
But fear not, Isaac Perlmutter,
Yeah.
co-owner of Toy Biz, also with Avi Arad. And some other key figures came in to be like, nah, we got this. So they basically came in, they stabilized their comic lines and just kind of did some damage control. And when you think about it, it makes all the sense in the world that guys who came from action figures would want to get in this business.
It's pretty crazy when you think about it.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on from there, what happened next?
Oh, well... Well, just to rewind real quickly. So, before Avengers became the smash hit that it was, and basically changed movie making forever, Marvel had some missteps. So, you go all the way back, interestingly enough, you got Captain America's first serial in 1944. Or sorry, 45. Or fuck, what was it? Yeah, sorry, 44. It was a 15-part serial, and I remember reading somewhere that his name wasn't even Steve Rogers, and it was real weird.
Yeah. That tends to happen in one of those weird 10-part, 15-part serials. Yeah.
It was no good, and I mean, if you skip over a few like TV projects like Hulk and whatever, the next real attempt at anything Marvel Comics would be Howard the Duck.
That is an attempt.
Obviously not a traditional Marvel comic.
No.
And then after that, they had Punisher in '89 with none other than Dolph Lundgren of Rocky IV fame.
Direct to VHS.
Direct to VHS, yes. And then the same thing happened with a Captain America movie a year later, also direct to video.
Oh, yeah.
So they were trying to, inch their way in, but it was just a really slow process. And then it happened again with Fantastic Four, where they wanted a budget so small that eventually Roger Corman, B-movie king, stepped in and offered to finance the film for $1 million. Ended up not being screened. It was never supposed to be released, apparently. But then, eventually after a while, illegal copies made the rounds. And then I think they may have gotten a home release at some point. Point was, it wasn't supposed to be seen. But,
yikes.
I mean, that's a whole story by itself.
What could have been.
Yeah, what could have been. And, I mean, what was. So that didn't work out exactly how they planned. Basically, those probably didn't help the bankruptcy.
No.
I mean, those obviously didn't lead to the bankruptcy.
No, but
it was more them leaving.
Yeah.
But those didn't help. And it's kind of interesting also. They had a Captain America show that they were working on. They had a minute reel, like a intro sort of thing. And they had some character designs, but nothing further than that because,
didn't get off the ground.
Well, yeah, that's because that was right at the time when things were shitty. So then we flash forward to 1998. There seems to be some hope.
Yes.
As Blade goes to theaters. Interestingly enough, New Line Cinema, which is Warner Brothers now. Then after that, May of 2000, that's where things really, really changed. Or this was the very beginning of what I think this was the first step of what would eventually become Marvel. So in 2000, Marvel had a deal with Artisan. And it was a number of different characters, and there's some real weird ones on here.
Oh, yeah.
So you had some standards. You had Cap, Thor, Black Panther, Iron Fist, Deadpool, Morbius, Longshot, Power Pack, Mort the Dead Teenager, and Ant-Man. Mm-hmm. So this is pre the release of X-Men by a few months. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of weird because Longshot he's an X-Men character, isn't he?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, most definitely he is.
Oh, you got it pulled up?
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was blanking the hell out. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. So it's clear that at that point, the licensing wasn't divvied up, the way it would be for the next, dozen or so years.
Right.
So, and also with that being evident also with Deadpool and Morbius, maybe there was some sort of weird stipulation. But Mort the Dead Teenager, I've never heard of him.
It's a Larry Hama original.
Larry Hama's the man, so you know what? I'll trust him.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. What is this Mort the Dead Teenager? Sounds stupid. Guys, Larry Hama did it. All right, you know what? I trust him.
There you go.
So, and that was really the thing, is one of their main things was licensing, because they had the 4 divisions of Marvel Entertainment Group. Mm-hmm. So it was
publication,
toys, or Toy Biz rather.
Yeah.
Licensing, and I think it was like film and animation, like production. Mm-hmm. So, they had their shows like X-Men and even some lesser known ones like Silver Surfer had it. I think it was just a season. Mm-hmm. Obviously not as long running as Spider-Man or X-Men.
Right.
But it was there. Mm-hmm. But then 2004 is when things really became like, this is the beginning of Marvel Studios as we know it. Mm-hmm. So David Meisel comes along. He's this business guy, and he enters Marvel, throws his hat in the ring, and suggests they should finance their own movies. And this is going on while they have other licensing deals that they're starting with other studios, because their original thought process was, well, if we have more studios in the mix, it's more likely things will go into production and get made. But at the same time, they figured, well, yeah, while they're developing some of those other things we've licensed, we should take the leftover characters that they don't own, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And as the modern MCU would prove, that, yeah, it's a ton of characters to work with. Mm-hmm. It's plenty to work with. So in 2005, Marvel is restructured. Aviara et al. Get to work making films independently, with Paramount set to distribute these. Mm. But now, a new player has entered the arena. Enter Kevin Feige.
Now we're starting to get into some more recent history.
Right. So, Feige, as at least you know, Robert, as I've mentioned this to you, I think a couple days ago, about his humble beginnings.
Yeah, man.
You've Got Mail and Volcano.
Yeah. He's Laura Schuler Donner's assistant at the time, and I think he also associate produced or had producerial work on the X-Men film from 2000.
Yeah, he did, and he did Daredevil, and I think he did pretty much all of them at the time. Mm-hmm. So if you take into the fact that, okay, I always fuck up these names. Laura Schuler Donner?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I got a 3-name right. Anyway.
Interestingly, Richard Donner's wife. Richard Donner, the director of Superman.
Right. I was going to say how crazy that is. Talk about coming full circle.
Mm-hmm. Pretty crazy.
Right? So there's that. Now, he was apparently, wowing executives because he's a self-professed fanboy. Mm-hmm. And knows all this Marvel stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And is just a huge comic book fan. And so he was there from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And the thing that's interesting about that is you kind of saw which movies worked, which didn't. Mm-hmm. X-Men and Spider-Man, those series, obviously they had low points towards the end, but strong starts.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's stuff that was just dead in the water from the get-go. Mm-hmm. Like Elektra.
Yeah.
It was no bueno.
Oof.
Which is weird because an Elektra movie could be really, really cool if done right. Mm-hmm. Anyway, 2005 continues to roll along, and what major step happened, Robert?
Well, Marvel was loaned $525 million by Merrill Lynch to make 10 movies. Now, these projects were namely Captain America, The Avengers, Nick Fury, Black Panther. So these are some, some ones that are getting pretty, mainstream. But then you got Ant-Man and Cloak and Dagger. Okay, some deep cuts. Doctor Strange, Hawkeye, Power Pack again, and Shang-Chi's in there, interestingly, as well.
Right. I don't get why they're so into Power Pack.
They wouldn't let it go.
Yeah, but those comics are not good.
Yeah.
You know what is funny? It kind of makes me think, why didn't they should have done Shang-Chi and Black Panther sooner?
A little bit.
I mean, it took what? 10 years to get to Black Panther. And now it'll be 12ish, about 12 years to get to Shang-Chi.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's also interesting that they wanted to do a Nick Fury solo movie.
Didn't they do one before? Or
They did. It was
David Hasselhoff?
Yeah, that was part of the crap era.
Was that a movie or a TV movie?
I think it was a TV movie,
Okay.
but it was. Let me put it this way: it's the kind of thing that'd be on Sci-Fi in the '90s.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
before Sci-Fi had better stuff on.
Yeah,
When they
yeah.
most primarily played B movies. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So the point was that was no good. So yeah, I guess they wanted to take another shot at it. It's not like anyone remembered that. Mm-hmm. So it's just weird to me that they want to do a solo of that.
Yeah, that would have been weird, man. Some of these moves are just they're interesting, especially retrospectively.
Right. So then after that, 2007, Feige's, he's named studio head chief.
And a lot of the other people kind of fade out, like Avi Arad kind of goes away.
Yeah. He's the last man standing, so
He
to
was.
speak.
And 2007 wasn't a great year. Well, it was an okay year for him because he obviously had the success financially of Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
But also he had sort of this, not ousting, but he ended up losing some of the other properties with, what happens in 2008.
Okay, so Iron Man hits theaters.
This is the last Marvel movie, or the last non-Spider-Man Marvel movie for the most part that Avi Arad has a producer credit on, right?
Yeah.
Because this movie was made at the time of his departure, I think.
Because I remember
2007.
there's some creative differences on Iron Man that made Avi Arad leave.
Right.
I can't remember exactly what they were, but I think I'd heard or read somewhere it had something to do with that he didn't even want Iron Man to fly. Come on now.
But this is the birth of the MCU as we know it.
Right. So this is obviously a huge step. Mm-hmm. This is the beginning of all the, because I remember hearing about the rumors, because the rumors that I had heard at, a couple years before that, the Marvel, I'm a Marvel, I'm a DC. Mm-hmm. The guy said, after we make the Ant-Man, Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man movies, that was the four that were listed, and I'm like, all right, sounds pretty cool.
When did it start to feel real for you? Because it wasn't until later on that year when we saw The Incredible Hulk and I saw Tony Stark in that. I'm like, oh shit, so they're doing this.
Okay, so I'm a moron, and I don't think I stayed for the credits.
Well,
because that's the weird thing. Now it's customary. Mm-hmm. You see people do it at other movies just in case.
Yeah, that was all started by Iron Man as well.
Right, because it became such a thing because of Marvel. I mean, I've heard of post-credit scenes before, but they're usually just little stingers, like little comedy things.
Yeah, like Ferris Bueller had one.
Yeah, and that's one of the best. Yeah, obviously
one of the first.
Well, but I just remember the Daredevil one. Mm-hmm. Bullseye's in the hospital, and there's that fly, and it's driving him crazy. And he just flicks a syringe at it, just kills it. Yeah. But interesting fact about Iron Man, Marvel had gotten the rights back from guess who? New Line.
Who was owned by?
Warner Brothers.
Oh, man.
Think about what a weird world what a clusterfuck it'd be. Mm-hmm. trying to deal with that nightmare.
Well, Iron Man can't be in Avengers because he's a Warner Brothers property.
But we already shot the post-credits scene. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
That would have been nuts. But then Disney sort of stepped in and they're like, all right, we're going to make this a little simpler.
Yeah, we're going to make things easy for you guys. We're just going to buy you.
Yeah, they bought Marvel Comics. Which, you know what's so funny? I remember when that happened too. I thought, oh, this is the beginning of the end. Oh, shit, you know.
I don't want to see a Disney logo in front of my Marvel movies.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Little did we know that it'd be more helpful than hurtful.
Yeah, if anything, you know, our qualms with Disney aside, they've let Marvel Studios, for the most part, work pretty autonomously.
Right.
And Kevin Feige's had his handle over things pretty, like, what's the word? Like, substantially.
Yeah.
Like, he's got...
I didn't want to say Iron Fist, because that's the wrong impression, but...
No, but I mean, sometimes it has been his way or the highway, as we've seen, you know, with people departing.
Well, a number of directors, and because that's his deal, is he lets you do whatever as long as it fits with his
plan.
Overarching, like, larger plan.
Yeah, the 15-year plan or whatever it was.
Yeah, I mean, he's claiming he's got movies till 2028. I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
So anyway, then 2012. This is what's weird, is there was the as we mentioned, Disney did buy Marvel. But 2012 was the first Disney proper Marvel movie. And by that I mean it was distributed by them.
And fittingly, it was the Avengers.
Of course.
The culmination of all these properties properly.
Yeah, and when you think about this, let's put this into perspective. This defied all odds by tying together 5 previous films from 4 different franchises. Mm-hmm. That hadn't been done yet.
That's still absurd to me. Like, even looking back in it, I'm like, that's wild to do. And we've seen it happen, you know, with Endgame. It's not just 4 franchises.
Oh,
it's numerous franchises being tied together.
You know what the real crazy thing about that is, though? It's that Kevin Feige's thought process was, we're not doing anything new. We're just doing what has always been a part of comics. Mm-hmm. That's what it makes that kind of insane, is you'd think, how did no one think of that earlier?
Mm-hmm. It's ingenious.
I got to imagine, though, at some point those ideas were floated around during the Artisan deal or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They had to be. Mm-hmm. But then the Merrill Lynch thing really
set things in motion.
Yeah. Because that's when they decided, fuck it, we'll do things our way.
Oh, yeah.
So there you have it, 2012. Then over time, 2013, as we'd mentioned before, the rights were kind of split up everywhere. And to this day, they still kind of are. Because it was Spider-Man and Ghost Rider were at Columbia. Mm-hmm. And then Blade was still at New Line.
Hulk, Universal.
Namor, Universal. Mm-hmm. And X-Men and Fantastic Four at Fox, etc., etc. They're kind of just split up everywhere. Mm-hmm. But then 2013, Disney started to say, all right, time to corral everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of that ended up being allocated to TV shows, such as the Netflix shows, because in 2013, they got back Daredevil, Ghost Rider, Blade, Punisher, and I think some others, but those were mostly the big ones. But again, what you forget is that also means a lot of great ancillary characters that come with those guys. You know, so Elektra.
Bullseye, Kingpin.
Yep, there you go. Just continuing to expand the MCU roster. Anyway, so then that happens. Then 2016, things get real screwy. Mm-hmm. Because with Civil War, Spider-Man's coming home.
The unthinkable.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Not quite.
But mostly?
Yeah, it's sort of. Because you think, oh, I get it. So he can be in Marvel movies, but other Marvel characters can't be in Spider-Man. But then Iron Man was in Homecoming.
But it was co-produced and distributed?
Yeah. I think Marvel Studios. Mm-hmm. It was a co-production between Marvel Studios and Sony.
Yeah.
So it's a weird case, it's an MCU movie.
But it's distributed by Sony.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not exactly Disney, but they're getting some chunk of change out of it, obviously.
Right.
It's like, it's a weird situation. So basically, the point is, 2016 made you say, what the hell is going on with these rights, man? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Especially, and then there's other stuff along the way, too, like the double Quicksilvers.
Yeah, which is no longer a thing now.
Yeah, it's a lot of screwy shit, and, whatever. We all know what happened to Quicksilver anyway.
Yeah.
I'm fast, but then I got shot.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Age of Ultron.
Yeah, guys, come on. Get on the ball.
There we go. Then 2018, Infinity War happens. And the immediate following thought after watching Infinity War is, how are they going to conclude a massive saga like this? And the answer, of course, came in the form of Avengers Endgame, just one short year later in 2019.
Also the same year, 2019, the year of our Lord right now, the same year in which Disney buys Fox.
Oh my God, yeah.
And makes things even simpler for us. No more of this, well, technically Fox also owns Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, but so does Disney? It's like, nope, now they're the same.
Well, okay, hold on. When Super Skrull is a Skrull, is he a composite of the Avengers or of the Fantastic Four? What abilities does he have?
Well, now you don't have to question it.
Yeah, and that leads us to our next section and final section of this podcast, the future.
So Marvel has obviously changed the game. We've seen, since the creation of the MCU, many copycat cinematic universes try and fail to make the same effect, or a rather effective product. We've seen the Dark Universe crash and burn. We've seen the DCEU have its struggles. We've seen Robin Hood cinematic universes be attempted. But as for the future of this cinematic universe...
Wait, hold up real quick. The latest Robin Hood, was that seriously the first in an attempt to build a universe?
I don't know if that was... I know they... Since before that, the really
I know they've
one,
been working on it forever.
Yeah. I don't know if that was an attempt for a cinematic universe, but I know they wanted a Maid Marian movie, a Little John movie, a Friar Tuck movie, and all the rest. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, what the hell are they forgetting? Like the guy who shovels shit near the dungeon movie.
Oh my God, yeah.
This summer, Shit Shoveler,
Sheriff of Nottingham movie. Here we fucking go. But no.
Sadly, if I'm a moron executive, the Sheriff of Nottingham movie sounds slightly more promising than Shit Shoveler.
A little bit. Just a little.
Anyway. Yeah, but that's interesting is a lot of people have tried and a lot of people have failed. And that goes back to the fact that the source material calls for the ability to have a larger universe in something like Marvel.
Right.
And same, I guess, should be said about DC. But guess what, everybody? I guess it's just not easy doing this.
No, it's not. Though Disney does make it look, or Marvel makes it look a little easy.
They make it look easy, but that's because they have everything planned out so well. And that's part of the thing is you really have to kind of put the cart before the horse.
But
you're putting... Well, I guess I'll use another annoying idiom. You're putting a lot of eggs in one basket.
Yeah, but like the Inception, man.
Yeah, it's a commitment.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Like the inception of the MCU as a whole, though, Endgame itself has changed the game.
Yeah,
it has changed how we think. It's changed, I believe, how fans think or should think the MCU should go about. It's changed how this reporter's opinions of the MCU should go about, and expectations, and just sort of directions, and like what I think and also am expecting. It's changed a lot. So this is what we'll be getting into here.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. Because, you know, the shitty thing I think is Captain America going to stay old? Is Iron Man going to stay dead? Are they going to have some weird AI version of Tony who talks to them or, like, leads the next crew of young Avengers? Or not leads them, but trains them or whatever? You There's a lot of questions left over. Let's see. Will they break the Infinity Stone rules again? Probably.
Time travel now is involved, so
because
it's invented. We can do it.
That's why I hate time travel, is especially this kind where the consequences aren't as dire or whatever. Because at least with Days of Future Past and X-Men, it seemed like that was a last ditch effort. So I don't know. Time travel just. Well, I mean, we already ranted about how much time travel sucks, but hey, what can I say? Here's a good question. How interconnected do you think the next phase is going to be? You think it's going to continue down this ultra uber interconnected thing? Or do you think we'll get more Ant-Man the Wasp type stuff where it has connections, but not as blatantly?
Well, before we recorded this podcast, I promised you a hot take on the future, or on my opinion of the future of the MCU. And that hot take is thus. I'm not even sure I want a next phase.
You know what? I kind of agree with you.
And it's part of that comes from just how well they maybe not succinct, but like how well they concluded the Infinity Saga. And I know it's just one part of a even bigger saga, if you will, as Kevin Feige said.
The Frieza saga is over, but Cell is on the way.
Yeah, but like there's not really anything about the coming movies that I am as excited about as anything we had just gotten. And that's, again, I've doubted Marvel in the past thousands of times.
Yeah, about many There's a lot of things where you think, that's not going to work, or I don't know who the hell these characters are,
right?
Yada yada yada.
And this isn't even coming from a place of like being, I'm burnt out. It's like, no, it's none of that. It's that they did so well with this. I don't want them to ruin it. And like, will they ruin it? Have you read some of the comics lately?
Well, see, I guess that's kind of my thing is. Depends on what sources they're pulling from.
Right.
If they do it the way they've been doing it, which is we have our own story, and it's just, we kind of use the comics, even the new ones. Sorry, dry heaves are the worst. But anyway, I mean, to be fair, there's some good ones, like the Black Widow. I haven't read the most recent ones, but ones before those were pretty rad. And a couple other select series are still fine. But as I was saying, I think the main thing they do is they kind of draw some general ideas and story arcs from there, but then they tell it kind of their own new way.
Right.
Like Winter Soldier wasn't exactly like the Winter Soldier comic.
Same with Civil War.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Civil War is drastically different in a number of ways. And that was partly due to who they could use and what roster... what characters were available for the respective Cap and Iron Man rosters.
Right. But, yeah, no, I think in answer to your question, how interconnected will the next phase be, or how interconnected do I want it to be, I don't know. I'd very much like something different from what we've gotten now, and maybe something that's much more, maybe something that is a little bit more, like you said, not as interconnected, kind of free form would be better than, or not better, would be different than what we've gotten so far as just, being this build up to something. And I'm not saying I don't want it to build up to something. It's just, this is a 10-year investment, 11-year investment, and people are asking like, well, what's next for the next 10 years? It's like, fuck, that's a lot of time for me to invest. And I just got done with this past 10 years. It's like, damn, this is just a lot to think about. That's
true.
A lot to unpack.
I mean, they delivered though. I mean,
oh hell yeah.
Well, it's just weird because we didn't realize what we were stuck in such an old mode of thinking. I remember hearing Ultron was the bad guy for Avengers 2. I said, what the fuck is this? Why isn't it Thanos? And little did I know, there's going to be plenty more Thanos. And,
in due time.
Yeah, in a long-ass time. But I'm not going to say I was disappointed with the results. But that's what I'm saying. It's a different way of doing this shit. And that's why unfortunately, I think it's going to continue to be pretty interconnected.
Yeah.
I mean,
will it be as good?
Well, that's based on the slate so far. Maybe. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of I'm about half and half on which ones I'm looking forward to.
I will say I'm a little bit. You know, it's weird because we mentioned certain films that are, after seeing Endgame, we kind of have a better understanding of what they're going to look like now that we've seen Endgame. And it's weird. I've flip flopped on movies. Like we were talking about Guardians of the Galaxy 3. My interest in that has gone up exponentially because we know Thor's in that apparently.
Right.
And then my interest in Black Widow has gone down the same amount because she's dead. So it's like it left me in a weird place.
Well, you know what's weird about the Black Widow thing is I don't think it made me less excited for the movie, but it made me less excited for her movie and how it's going to play into the bigger arc.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing is I feel like there's kind of a strange disconnect I get from I could think something looks good, but then I'm expecting it to pay off in the larger story.
Right.
So, for example, let's say they're doing Secret Wars as the next big event thing. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want the Skrulls to just be fucking around and just like ruining the plot just for the sake. We need to build for the next movie in like all of the upcoming movies, for instance. Mm-hmm. Shang-Chi, whatever. I'd rather it be, Shang-Chi beat the shit out of whoever. Mm-hmm. I forgot all of his villains' names. Whatever, the snow gorilla dude. Mm-hmm. It's like a monster who he fights in the Bleeding Black comic. Mm-hmm. But then they become buds. Anyway. Okay, so he beats whoever the hell the villain is from that comic. So the movie's over, he kicks his ass, etc. And then all of a sudden, at the end, one of the characters we saw throughout the movie, you see his face change. Oh, look, he's a Skrull. And that could be either a mid or a post-credit scene. Mm-hmm. Like you could do something like that where it's just that one little thing at the end. It's like, let's say it was someone in the movie who was like training him at the dojo or something. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, he's a Skrull or some shit like that. I wouldn't want it to be, for instance, as I was saying, Skrulls just kind of overtaking everyone's story. I don't think they would do that, but sometimes it felt that way in certain ones.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see is probably, I think what the Infinity Saga is to Iron Man, or rather what Iron Man is to the Infinity Saga, I think the Eternals is going to be to this next Uber arc in the MCU.
Yeah, probably, because they've been talking a lot about how they want to go cosmic more, and I think so. And
I think you're going to see some Galactus.
Oh, you think so?
2022, they're saying they're going to be including the Fox characters they acquired, and that sounds just about right to be like not mid. If we're judging the time based like relative on how long it took to get in the middle of the Infinity Saga arc, what was it like? What's in the middle? So 2008 to 2019. That's like.
So you're talking about 2014, sort of.
2014.
So
like
that's where we got our first movie with a significant amount of Thanos.
Well, 2012 was our first utterance of Thanos.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Look of Thanos, yeah.
So our first real good look at him and like seeing him walk and talk and like doing shit. So from when Phase 4 is going to start is like 2020 is when it's supposed to start, because they now revised in saying that Spider-Man Far From Home is not part of Phase 4. It's the epilogue to Phase 3. It's post-Infinity Saga, but still Phase 3. Yes.
So 2020 is technically going to be Phase 4. 2 years into Phase 4, we'll be allowed to use Fox characters. So that would probably make sense if we're going to use Galactus, Silver Surfer, maybe throw in a little bit of Reed Richards. Who knows? But yeah, I do really think that the Eternals will probably pave the way for this new arc that I have mixed feelings on even being invested in. But we'll see. I'll see the movies. I mean, I think I will too, but I kind of get what you mean. This was a fun journey, but it's pretty exhausting. Yeah, you're like, guys are still going, huh? Yeah. Okay, well, we'll see how this pans out. So that's why I'd rather them be way less interconnected, and
I'd rather it be like Phase 1.
Yeah.
Where it was, these can kind of stand on their own, but then, as an added bonus, here's some ways how these are connected. It's like I was saying with Shang-Chi, it's like he has his adventure, and then there's something that hints at the larger picture afterwards. Black Widow, well, let's pretend it's not a fucking prequel, just for the sake of argument.
Right.
Whatever, takes down Yelena Belova. Oh, wow, what a crazy adventure. Okay, credit scene. Hint at something. And then maybe there's little Easter eggs along the way. Oh, this shipping company is part of blank. It's like, oh, that's the shipping company that the Skrulls use. The Skrulls use FedEx too. Whatever. You get what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my thing. So then Black Widow, I'm still excited for the movie.
I'm excited for it,
It's
but
just like, gee, it should have been in the place of another movie.
Yeah.
It
feels a lot like my
It should have been in the place of
towards-
like 3 or 4 movies.
Oh, I mean, it should have been a Phase 1 movie, if you're asking me. And it we got Iron Man 2.
They'd been developing that forever. David Hayter,
Yeah.
the dude who wrote
X-Men.
X-Men.
Solid Snake himself.
Yeah. He wrote a really solid script for Black Widow. I think it would have been a Fox Marvel.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, I would have dug that. But, I mean, I would have much rather this or Black Widow instead of Spider-Man again, Ant-Man the Wasp, which it was fine, but it was just very middle. And then Captain Marvel, I would much rather it there too. So it's 3 slots where I would have rather seen Black Widow. So, you know what? I don't care if she's dead. I mean, what the fuck am I talking about? I do, but I'm saying I don't care in the sense that I'm still excited for the Black Widow movie. It's been a long time coming, way too long, if you ask me.
Yeah. It just kind of bums me out.
I guess my thing is, as long as you keep it mid-scale.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I did appreciate about Ant-Man and the Wasp. You had a break from these gigantic, everything's a giant, huge event. It's nice where it's just kind of this one little, not little story, but smaller scale story in comparison to Civil War or
Endgame.
Well, obviously Endgame, but I mean, smaller in scale than a lot of the Marvel movies, even the solo movies, because, even Thor, you've got the whole thing about Asgard and all that jazz.
Right.
So this is just more centralized. You can make something more centralized, that's all I'm saying.
I'll definitely see it.
And then, Shang-Chi obviously looking forward to. Doctor Strange 2, don't give a shit. I don't know. The first one was fine. I feel like here's my problem with Doctor Strange 2. All the shit that I'm not into, it seems like that's going to be their jam. Oh, there's more travel dimensions. Ancient One. Oh yeah, by the way, there's more Infinity Stones.
Oh fuck.
It's going to like Dragon Ball Z it.
See, that's what I don't want.
Now we've got the Black Star Dragon Balls. Now we've got the this Dragon Balls. It's like the same concept. Now we've got the Infinity +1 stones.
Yeah. Oh man.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's the shit where first of all, I thought normies wouldn't go for that, which I was wrong about for the most part. But now that that's a thing, I just really hope they curb that and don't do too much of that crazy shit. So then Black Panther 2, I bet that'll be fine.
Yeah, that'll be okay.
I think
It could be. I might be one of the only people that'll like it more than the first if it's really good.
Yeah,
Because they got Ryan Coogler coming back.
there's definitely like little. I mean, there were just like little things they could tweak. Like they just need to make T'Challa more. I don't know.
Better.
Charismatic. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to make him more charismatic. Just make sure the third act's less thrown together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that could definitely have some potential. So I guess that'll do it for that. So I guess the next question is, what about Disney's new avenue? Disney Plus.
This is very interesting.
I kind of wanted to say their new avenue and say we better run down to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, it's interesting because this is going to be the first time we see Marvel TV television shows developed by Marvel and Disney that are, and forgive me, that are going to matter.
That count.
That count.
Because,
that aren't just, well, this is a character that exists in the universe, but we never see him in the movies, or, oh, there's some
Iron Fist, in that show, let's say they're referencing, blah, 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 starring Captain America. Hey, we should call him. No, I don't think that's a good idea.
Right. Or, like, something that's not just a tie-in, like Peggy Carter or Agent Carter or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like, no, like, Loki's getting his own show. Or, like, Hawkeye, like Jeremy Renner, Tom Hiddleston, Elizabeth Olsen, and Paul Bettany, and Sam Wilson. What's his name?
Yeah, Sam Wilson's Falcon.
What's his actor's name?
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, the Falcon and Winter Soldier show. Like, they're all getting their show, and it's going to be canon. So, like, this is the first time that, like, these shows are really going to be canonically, like, MCU based.
Yeah, they're going to matter.
Everything else is either tie-in.
My question is,
whatever.
I hope this shit better not be, kind of, I guess, how do you put it, required reading for the movies.
Yeah.
Or required viewing, rather.
Especially since it's behind a paywall that's not everybody, you can't just go to a theater and watch it, It's not the same.
It's kind of weird, though, I've got varying degrees for all three of these shows.
Yeah,
all four.
Yeah, there's varying from I'm not interested to I'm very interested.
So not interested at all is Loki for me.
Yeah,
because it sounds like he's just gonna do
goofy shit,
tomfoolery, but it doesn't. My problem is it sounds like it's just gonna be him and a bunch of not other Marvel characters,
right?
Besides maybe an occasional Asgardian here or there.
Yeah.
Then WandaVision, I don't know.
I don't know what that's going to entail.
I have no idea what that's going to be.
Mm-hmm. So
I'm having like visions of no pun intended, in my head of what that could turn out to be, and some of them seem like a cool, okay sci-fi romp, and some of them just seem like unwatchable nightmare garbage. So, I just don't know what the hell that's going to entail.
I would say, obviously, Falcon and Winter Soldiers probably are both our most anticipated.
Oh, that's...
And that's a limited series, by the way, too, right? That's not a show.
I think all of these aren't they? Or am I crazy?
I thought Hawkeye, Loki, and WandaVision were supposed to be, like, 10 episode or whatever. From what I've heard, like, Falcon and Winter Soldiers, like, only a few things.
That's fine. I think that is cool, though, because it's a way to get stories that we might otherwise never have gotten the chance to see.
Or characters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially a Hawkeye movie. Mm-hmm. That just doesn't fit in with their slate, especially since, is that going to cost at least $300 million?
Right.
No, sorry, can't do it. Well, I mean, surely I jest, as I'd be hard-pressed to believe Black Widow is a gigantic movie.
No, it'll probably be, like you said, medium budget.
Yeah, like 100.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe. Between 100 160. God, Jesus Christ, that's a smaller...
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like,
Marvel movie now.
That might be on the higher end for me. Like, I was thinking maybe, like, 90. Like, that'd be a small, like, spy movie, I was thinking. Like, non-James Bond spy,
Yeah. Well, but that's what's going to be cool, is seeing spy and superhero kind of shit colliding with each other.
Yeah, man. It's never really happened.
It's going to be an interesting genre mashup, as will Shang-Chi. Then Eternals is just, we've seen this before.
Yeah, this is just like Guardians of the Galaxy, sort of.
Okay, so back to the Disney shows.
Yes.
And then, what the fuck was I saying? Oh, yeah, Hawkeye.
We kind of talked about that last week. Expectations are... It could be good.
I have no idea, but I would say...
It depends on the involvement of... What's the daughter's name? Or not the daughter, the daughter. What's her name?
Oh, in the movie? Yeah. I don't know, because it's not... I thought it was supposed to be Kate Bishop, but I have no idea anymore.
I don't know either.
Yeah. That one I would say was second most anticipated. Actually, I would say my interest in that has gone up because of the Endgame.
Yeah, especially with Ronan and
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner's performance as that character, as that stage in Hawkeye's life.
That's what's kind of crazy is, if you're a fan of Hawkeye and you felt like he kind of got the short end of the stick overall, well, now he has his own show. So
Yeah, man.
He's got a good amount of content in which you get to see his character grow. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's the What If show.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I'm actually very interested in that.
Yeah, especially because
'cause-
it's animated.
Right. Well, that's the other thing. There's a whole slew of animated shows.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that moves on to everything else Marvel TV going forward. So Endgame, as we mentioned in our review, made it pretty abundantly clear that the TV universe characters will stay separate.
Mm-hmm.
That is the ABC shows, at least.
Right, and thank God for some of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Mm-hmm.
What a pity.
Yeah.
We're not going to see whatever the hell her name is now, Daisy and Agent, not Coulson, the other guy.
I don't know.
I don't remember. The Agent generic dude.
I don't know.
I don't remember his name. Doesn't matter. That just, I think that speaks volumes of how much we respect that show.
Right.
It sucks, but anyway, they got New Warriors. That's supposed to be coming out
Interesting.
with Milana Vaintrub, who is of course Lily Adams' point guard
Yeah, that's true.
as Squirrel Girl.
She's also the Verizon lady? Sprint?
That's what I'm talking about. That's
Yeah.
where she met Grant Hill.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that. The real question is, are the Hulu shows? How the hell is that gonna work?
I don't know. The animated ones?
Well, because they're animated, so they're definitely not taking place in the MCU, are they?
No, I don't think so. But like Runaways obviously is. And like
Is it?
I think
'Cause,
so.
I mean, they've got a season of. They've got, what are they on? 2 seasons now?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's MCU based, though there's like not much that happens in there that's like
Oh, so okay, so it's like the
it's a smaller
Netflix
show.
shows.
Yeah, but they also are moving Ghost Rider's going to be on there as well.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And Hellstrom? Is it
Hell-
Hellstorm?
Hailstorm. Hailstorm. No, that's a band.
But they're going to be on there as well, and it's going to be the Ghost Rider from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. iteration.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So it's going to
So
have
once again, it's going to be separate.
Yeah.
So I guess that. Oh, so that's on Hulu. Oh,
Yeah.
well, that answers my question then.
because Disney owns like
Yeah.
most of Hulu.
Yeah,
Anyway.
at this point.
Makes sense.
Well, yeah, it'll probably remain separate, just like the ABC shows. That'd be my guess.
I agree.
Well, I guess that answers my question. So then going forward, we already kind of covered this. Seems like the Infinity Saga, Marvel was just scratching the surface with the cosmic stuff.
Yeah, especially with the Eternals on the way.
And then there's all these different things you could do. Secret Avengers, Secret Wars, Secret Invasion. So many secrets. I don't know.
Kree Skrull War perhaps on the horizon.
Yeah.
Galactus,
I could dig that. Well, that's crazy. 'cause
Silver Surfer.
Now there's no bullshit with that. The
No
Kree
discrepancy.
Skrull Wars. Yeah. And then, yeah, you can do a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. And then, of course, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four.
Perhaps sooner rather than later. 2022, they're saying.
That's what I'm thinking. I feel like we might see someone, God knows who,
How soon?
2021.
Yeah, I think so.
They keep doing that. You think there's no way they're going to get Spider-Man.
Happens.
You don't believe it. And then they don't shoehorn him in. They put him in Civil War with not really a lot of time.
Right, and that was the weirdest thing about Civil War is it didn't feel as reshot as
No,
like
not
Captain
at all.
Marvel and Endgame did.
Yeah.
It was it was integrated very, very well and organically too.
Right. And that's what I'm saying is I feel like because they can do that, they're going to do something crazy again.
I agree.
I think if I were to guess, it'd be Fantastic Four.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
Well, think about it. Oh, we've been trapped in space. What the fuck's going on? Hey, we're the Eternals. Or something a lot, you know. Maybe someone could take a pass at the dialogue I just wrote. But,
sure.
you know, someone could give that another go. But the idea is there.
Yes.
But speaking of ideas there, X-Men and Fantastic Four. Could you imagine the possibilities we have? Mojo World, Genosha, Mutant Massacre, a legitimate version of Age of Apocalypse. Well, there you go. Alternate timelines are kind of a thing now. I think that could be a huge possibility at this point. Like a true adaptation of it.
Annihilus, the Shi'ar, Savage Land.
That's right. There's so many characters we haven't seen yet still. Got the Serpent Society, the Wrecking Crew, but like the real Wrecking Crew, not the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. one. There's a lot of stuff we could do. Kazar. Savage Lands,
yeah.
Man.
And there's other things that have been kind of rattling around in development. Like I know they've been trying to do Moon Knight and Captain Britain, but we haven't gotten Black Knight. We haven't gotten Alpha Flight, Darkhawk, Hercules, Thunderbolts.
There's a big one.
Wonder Man and Nova are the two. I know they talked briefly about the Nova Corps in Guardians 1.
So out of that list, I'd like to see Wonder Man, but I feel
Wonder Man would be cool.
I feel like there's just going to be some bullshit about, oh, Wonder Woman, Wonder Man, what's going on here?
Maybe they'll just call him by his name.
Simon, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can do that.
Hercules is probably going to be making his debut in Eternals.
That
which makes sense.
Be sensible. What was... Oh, Gladiator.
Yeah,
See, I think that'd be the best in terms of mixing up... Making the best use you could of all the different characters you have now. Because he's an X-Men character, but he's been in a lot of different things over the years. Like, he's tangled with Thor and... the Avengers. So he's one of those characters who's not really just an X-Men character.
Right.
I guess the point is there's a lot of crazy shit they could do, and this section was a complete waste of time.
Well, I think my big takeaway is there's a lot they can do, but coming out of Endgame, I was really impressed with how well they seem to conclude things, and my only worry going forward is that they don't cheapen the feel of this world by continuing it and, in a way, as I put it before, living long enough to see themselves become the villain. Well, I don't want this to become like a TV show.
Well, maybe they'll just reboot it in 10 years. Who knows?
I would honestly rather have that.
I kind of would too, but now that they've got time travel and interdimensional bullshit, like they've got all the excuses to do that, but not really, if you get what I mean.
Will it ever end?
Who knows? In conclusion, Marvel's doing stuff. And lots of it. The end. I'm out of shit to say. So that'll do it for this podcast. Hey, lay off. I'm tired, alright? Jeez. Man, that's the last time I invite a studio audience. Very rude.
Yeah, it's hard to get their schedules all lined up, too. It's a fucking hassle.
Yeah, it's a real pain. Anyway, thank you for listening to Bonus Features with Alex and Robert. I'm Alex.
And I'm Robert.
If you like what you heard, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also hit the bell, because that way you get notifications and stuff. Also be sure to check out our Facebook page so you can stay up to date with all our latest clips, news, and reviews. And remember, for both the Facebook page and the YouTube channel, that's Bonus Features with Alex and Robert.
And as always, till next time.
Jesus Christ, you people are relentless.